Thank you for joining. So this week I will talk about Sawaki Roshi's quotes from chapter, I think it was chapter 6. In the printed version, we are on page 36. We all develop peculiar habits. The powerful and the teachers and intellectuals who serve them do their best to train us in these peculiarities. In this way, we are tied and twisted in the most complicated ways. Religion means untying these knots. In the end, there's only emptiness. He's using the expression peculiar habits, but basically he's talking about karma here. And normally when we talk about karma, so if I had to explain karma, give it a different English definition, I would say it's conditioning. And both conditioning that we receive maybe during our childhood or in school, but also the way we condition ourselves. Like, I don't know exactly where it stems from, but there's often this metaphor of the two wolves in your mind. The one wolf wants to get this, and the other wolf wants to get something else. Like, for example, one part of you wants to do Zazen and maybe devote your whole life to the way, and another part of yourself wants to enjoy yourself. So how do you deal with these two wolves? And well, this proverb goes, well, the wolf that you feed will get stronger over time. So basically that's karma, that's conditioning, and that's how we condition ourselves. But as Sawaki Roshi says here, of course, conditioning can also happen in society. He's basically pointing here the fingers at the powerful, the teachers and the intellectuals. I don't know if we can put all the blame on them. Maybe it's healthier to not put too much blame on the others. But of course, the powerful teachers, intellectuals, but also play a role in this conditioning. And religion means untying these knots, getting free of the conditioning, living this one moment as if it was completely new. A couple of days I was talking about the Hotsubo Daishin chapter to the Sangha in Antai. You can also find that on my YouTube channel. I was talking about this idea of Dogen, that we have at least 6 millions, according to Dogen, even 6 billions single moments every day. We die and are born anew each day. And I think the idea there is that we shouldn't excuse ourselves by our bad karma, that body-mind is not occurring, that we don't have body-mind. Because our old karma, that ruled, that was the conditioning until the last moment. But this moment is completely fresh. This moment you are free. And what Sawaki Roshi is saying here about religion, I think it's the same. You can't excuse yourself by your past karma anymore. The moment you do Zazen, you are free. Okay, Schwanzan, if you like to translate, please.
I will do it short because today only one student.
Okay.
Maybe I do very short. 那我就简短说，因为今天咱们人少啊。就是老师刚才读了一小段儿，大概意思就是说，我们都有自己的特殊癖好，然后是非常有力量的。这些老师，就他这些老师们，或者是这些提供的有的这些智慧的东西哈，让我们 就是我们用我们最大的努力去来训练这些特殊的癖好。其实这个地方刚刚老师解释了，这个特殊癖好就是指的是我们的 karma。然后他说这就是这种方法呢，我们有的时候可能会觉得很累，或者是你觉得好像有两种完全不同的方向。刚刚老师解释说，就好像我们有的时候在调整自己，我们有两种不同的想法，一个是你积极的、消极的，你很想去或者不想去。那我们如何处理这两种角色？如何训练自己？其实就是那个泽姆老师在这儿指的就是我们的 karma 业哈。然后呢，后面说就是呃，宗教信仰其实就是让我们来解开这个结，因为到最后，其实什么也，它到最后其实就是空的。然后老师说，我们不应该以自己不好的这些之前的 karma 为借口，然后让自己有一些比较消极的处理，或者说，其实我们之前的一些karma，只有到我们人生命的最后一刻才会发生效果。那我们现在的这一刻，其实你是非常自由的。当你现在坐禅的时候是自由的。而不是说因为你有了一个不好的 karma 的借口，让你好像有了一个不好的结果。我们不应该这样想，大概是这个意思啊。
Okay, thank you. Next on page 37, there's 4 short quotes. Maybe I read all of them. The first one: everyone is trying to make themselves out to be important according to their worldly criteria. I think I talked about that already. We all try to be different, define ourselves about how the way we differ. One has blue hair, somebody has a bald head, somebody has a fancy tattoo or has a strange t shirt. But that's not what really, how do you say? Well, that's what defines us in worldly society. But what's more special about you as a person is that right now, at this precise moment, you're the only person that's really conscious, which of course is a strange thing to say, because to whom am I speaking? When I'm speaking to you, of course, I suppose that you're also conscious. But there's only one consciousness that's actually conscious in this moment. And when I say that, what I mean is basically every day, every day in the history of the universe, on that special day, it's now, it's the present. But there's only one day that is really present now, and that's today. And what makes today special is not the way it differs from yesterday and it differs from tomorrow. Of course, every day is a little bit different from the other days, but that's not what makes today special. Today is the only day in the history of the universe that you can actually live, that you can breathe, that you can enjoy the sky, you can enjoy the sun or the stars. And in the same way, you can say that about this person. This is the only person you can live. That's what makes this person special. And it's not the way you look and whatever history you tell about yourself. But usually we misunderstand that and we try to be special. We try to make today a special day by making it different from yesterday. But there's no need to do that. Today becomes special by just living it fully. This person becomes special by completely living this person. But according to Sawaki Roshi, we all try to be important according to our worldly criteria, comparing ourselves to the others, trying to be better. And number 2, what one system builds, the other will destroy. What one political power accomplished will be repealed by the next. Which means we shouldn't trust how do you say, the standards of the time we live in too much. Of course, living in these times that we live today, where everybody has their own ideas about what truth is, what the facts is, one could also ask ourselves, well, maybe we should have at least a certain portion of healthy trust. If you trust everything, you have a hard life, and it will also make society will make it difficult for society to function. So, of course, I agree with Sawaki Roshi here that what is considered good or bad, right or wrong, true or false, depends also on the time, on the political system. But then, if you decide, well, I'm gonna make my own standards, I'm gonna decide for myself what is true and untrue. Everyone is doing that. It's also a little problematic, as all of you know, because we see this happening right now. Number 3, a person who seeks his true calling won't want to pursue a career. A person who wants to become president doesn't know where he's going in life. So if you try to become president, that's trying to be like the king in the play of chess. But why? Why would you want to be part of the chess game? Rather, be free of the game. Take a break from the game. Who would want to waste his life becoming the president? And then number 4, again, Sawaki Roshi says, the election is so important to them that presidents and congressmen campaign to rally votes. Idiots. Even if they asked me to become president, I'd turn it down. How dumb do you think I'm anyway? Well, I doubt that anybody ever asked Sawaki Roshi to become the president. But I agree with him that I wouldn't want to be president. Of course, nobody would ask me to be one. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that there are people who are willing to actually campaign and do the job. And if they put a little bit of the money in their own pocket, even that is okay with me, as long as they do the job that I wouldn't want to do. Because I totally agree with Sawaki Roshi. I wouldn't want to use, even if it's only for 4 years or so, I wouldn't want to be the president of a country like Japan or America or Germany. I have better things to do with my life. But again, I'm thankful for the people who are willing to do that job. Okay, so maybe Schwanzan, after a short translation, you can ask or comment, share whatever you want to share.
我刚刚老师读了4个不同的格言，然后第一句话就是说，我们每个人其实都想让自己好像变得很特别，好像你有你自己的一个什么标准，让它好像变得在你的世界当中非常的特别一样。然后老师刚刚说，其实我们总是想通过自己的外表呀、衣服呀，别人如何看你啊，或者是你好看不好看，这些标准来想让自己变得很特别。但其实或者说有一天你觉得它会变得非常的特别，那这一天可能是个什么纪念日或者个什么特殊的日子，但是老师其实说这一天变得非常的特别，并不是说因为这一天特别，而是因为这一天是你人生当中唯一的一天，只有这一天，它的不同不是说它和昨天不同，它和今天不同，它的这一天的不同是因为，我们只有在这一天可以享受阳光，享受呼吸，享受水，所以就好像这个人他是一个特别的人，并不是说这个人很特别，而是说这个人他不是说他好看不好看特别，而是说你跟他相处的时候其实是很特别的。所以其实没有什么特别的一天或者是特别的人，然后后面 后面一个，所以我们觉得自己很重要，也不是说因为你长得很漂亮，你的头发，或者是你跟别人有什么不同，是因为你必须你要活成你现在有的这个人，你现在就要活出你现在这个人这个样子，所以他是很特别的，不是说他和别人不一样。然后下一个就是，我就讲老师大概其讲的，我就不翻译了啊。就是下个主要是谈的是标准，就是说，我们有的时候想要有一个标准，其实这个标准在不同的时代是有不同的标准的，我们不要以真假来辨别它，因为它的标准是要依靠当时的，比如说像各种朝代呀、年代，现在有的一个标准，到下一个朝代可能就不一样了。然后下面一个呢，就是讲的是我们总是好像在有一个人他总是好像在他自己认为一个正确的一个，或者说呃不像每个人都想要一个没有压力的事业哈，就好像这个泽木老师说，不管别人给我多少钱哈，他也不愿意变成那个代表或者是总统，一个国家的国王，呃，因为他不知道他的生活将会走向何方，他不知道他的生活是怎样的。刚刚老师分享说，其实他也是这样的。他说他是不愿意当什么领导的，即便当领导可能会有一些金钱上的补充，但是其实你是不知道你的人生走到哪儿的。他宁愿自由一些，然后有一个自己规划的人生。然后下面一个就是下面一条，其实跟这一条内容大概其差不多，就是我们应该有一个不要认为这个位置很标准或这个人很标准，然后希望有一个这个特殊是因为它是你的，你要活出这个生活才是特殊的。大概其老师说的是这个意思，然后有问题可以提啊。
Thank you. Do you have questions or anything else that you would like to share? If yes, feel please.
Yes,
Please.
can you hear me today?
Yes, we can hear you today.
Oh, okay, very fine. Uh, you said the conditions are my karma. So it means if I want to become rid of my karma. But this sounds a little bit crazy because I always will need some conditions in this life to survive.
Yes.
I have to know that I have stopped with my motorbike on a red light. So conditions are also important for this life.
Yeah, well, conditioning, like in a way, for example, if you turn sitting into a habit, that's also a way of conditioning.
Oh, but it's a good
And so
condition.
conditioning is not necessarily bad,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but you don't want to be a slave of your conditioning.
yeah.
Rather,
I
you want
understand.
to. Mm, mm.
Yeah. So it's good to find out which conditions are okay for this life, which are good, which are helpful, and which are conditions are not so good, which, yeah, yeah. Uh,
Mm, mm.
Okay, thanks for answer.
Like when we start to do Zazen, usually I don't use these expressions, but often Zazen is explained by adjusting the posture, about adjusting the breath, and then adjusting the mind, which basically means that you settle well into Zazen and things kind of start to fall into place, both when it comes to the posture. Also, there's no special way of breathing, but your breath settles and your mind settles. You could say also that's a way of conditioning yourself,
Mm.
but it's a different way of conditioning than when you're a slave. For example, with the posture, sitting, if you make this into a habit, or you always sit at the computer like this, you turn that into a habit.
Uh,
That habit or that posture will also determine who you are, what state of
Yeah.
mind you are. And if you
Yeah.
change that, so kind of it's about adjusting our habits, adjusting our conditioning. I
Yeah.
think what Sawaki Roshi is talking here about.
But one time I was reading to let in Zen you say sometimes to let the world go.
Mm,
I think I was reading this, and it means then for me to let the conditions go. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, the conditions fall, and
mm,
I come to back to this moment, and
yes,
sometimes then I'm open to this moment. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, okay. My English is not so good. Sorry,
Mm,
I have to think a lot how to explain
mm, mm,
what what I mean.
mm. Yeah, maybe I would just come back again once more to this example of the physical posture. It's not so much about that we try to create a new posture, rather, all these peculiar habits that Sawaki Roshi talked about, they also kind of about this physical posture. Somebody has a habit of always being like this, somebody has a habit about being like that. And becoming free from these habits allows us to settle in the most natural posture.
Uh,
So
uh,
again, becoming free of karma doesn't mean that every day you don't know if you the red light means to stop or means to go. All of this conditioning is gone, but it means that somehow it settles in a natural way, and
uh,
all these kind of peculiar peculiarities fall away. But that doesn't
uh,
mean that we don't know what to do anymore. We don't know what to
uh,
eat or what not to eat. We don't have to learn to go to the toilet
uh,
each day new as a 3 year old. We don't have to
uh,
do potty training every day anew.
uh,
Of course,
uh,
that kind of conditioning stays with us, hopefully.
uh, 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 uh. Yeah, I think we have many conditions. I got the conditions from my family, from my mother, from my
Yes,
father, and my father, my mother got the conditions from the village where they lived, and the
yes.
village got the condition from the country. Yeah, so we have millions of conditions. Yeah.
Okay. Julian is raising his hand. Julian, please.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's tragic you won't stand for president because obviously some of us would be voting for you, Muho.
I would
I'd
have
vote for President Muho.
12 votes or so.
But that's the thing, isn't it? If you enter that political fray, then you're going to be held by the conditioning. You have to then be gripped by your conditioning. So, yeah. But I just wanted to say again, as a therapist, I think what I'm working with all the time is nothing but habit. It's postural habit, but it's emotional habit. And it's so powerful, our habits. They grip us so tightly, but it's just being open to the possibility they can loosen a little bit or being aware of them. And I guess this is the strength of Zazen, isn't it? Is just to give yourself that space to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a quick question I wanted to ask was I can't remember when Sawaki Roshi was writing these comments that you've gathered as to you. What date was this that he was responding to?
To you, these are quotes that were all collected by Uchiyama Roshi when he was training with Sawaki Roshi. So they're all from after the war. So I
Yeah.
doubt that he would have said the same in 1940.
Well, I was thinking that because it's such a huge shift of mindset from 1944 to
Yes.
1946, and then yeah. But do you think he was writing, speaking to the time, or speaking more universally?
I think also the experience that he made, the brainwashing that he himself received in the 40s, early 1940s, 1930s, I think without explicitly talking about himself, he's talking about, for example, he's often using this phrase group paralysis, group
Mm,
paralysis.
paralysis. Yeah.
And he's referring to that experience he made in that time, 1930s until 1945, that, well, basically you can't tell right from wrong anymore. You're drunk, in a way you're drunk. And Sawaki Roshi was no exception from that.
Thank you.
Anything else that you would like to ask or share?
Ist eine Schlauchbootfrage.
Mhm.
Sag mal, Deshimaru war ein Schüler von Kodo Sawaki.
Ja.
Ah, okay, alles klar, danke.
Schwansan, will you still be in America next Monday, or are you back in Japan?
Yeah, we're here until the 10th.
Until the 10th. Okay, so we can do it on the 6th as usual?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So next week on the 6th, it's still Golden Week here in Japan, but for me, every day is Golden Week, so to speak. Every day is a holiday for me. So I want to continue with the Heart Sutra next week. May 6th, same time, same place. Thank you, Schwansan, for hosting us. Thank you for translating. Thank you, everybody, for participating. If you like, come back next week. Have a nice week. Thank you for coming.
Okay, bye-bye.